Hey everyone, welcome back to another hands-on review with BA Gaming, now known as Bad Tech in Gaming. I know it's been a while since I posted a review video, but let's not forget this is more of a hobby for me. I don't do this professionally, and that does make it difficult to be consistent, especially when I don't get devices sent to me. Hint hint. Anyway, let's clarify for a second. So in this video, we will be discussing the Google Pixel. Now that the hype is gone, I've gotten a chance to fully move into Google's flagship smartphone for about 6 months now, and that's where our review takes place. Kind of 6 months after the fact. Quick note, if you think I do a good job with these videos, please don't forget to subscribe, as that is a huge deal to me, and maybe one day I can do it professionally if I get enough subscribers. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right in. So just like my prior review videos, I will break this into 4 categories. Great, good, bad, and horrible. Starting out with the greats, these are things that make this phone worth the money, make me proud to show off my Google Pixel to everyone. My number one instance in the great category is not necessarily a feature, but it's a thought that Google gave to the details. It's prominent in almost every aspect of this phone. For instance, double tap the power button, launch the camera, then quickly press the volume up button to take a photo. I know a few other phones have that feature, but when you couple that with lightning fast software and an amazing camera that almost autofocuses instantly, it makes for a really smooth operation and you never miss a moment. Little things like that all around the operating system. The next thing on this list has to be the camera. I will say it is the single best phone camera I have ever used. I won't spend much time on this one because most people in most videos spend a long time talking about how great the camera is or what the faults are, lens flare, all this, all that. And it still has its ups and downs. But I'll go ahead and just play a clip and let you decide for yourself. Next up, a few of these great features actually blend together, so I'm going to use more of a general term and kind of dive into more detail about them. Day-to-day consistency. This is the reason why people like things like the iPhone. And seeing as this phone has a very similar form factor, you put them side by side, you'll know what I mean, and seems to be targeting a similar consumer base, I'd say they're a direct competitor. Moving forward. This phone still works the same as the day I purchased it, and I've used up to 95 gigabytes out of my 128 gigabytes of storage on my phone. It still glides through applications like butter, and that is a wonderful thing. Included in this day-to-day life is the fingerprint scanner, because I use it up to 100 times a day, and that's not even an exaggeration. And it works 99 out of those 100 times. I can go ahead and show you a video if you want of me opening and closing my phone 100 times, but I won't make you sit through that. Moving on. One-handed use is also included in this day-to-day aspect, as it makes my life so much better. I'll give you an example. In my career, I am very busy. I'm usually moving a lot, and I have multiple things that I'm walking around with in my hands. So to be able to use my phone, I use it for almost all form of communication, like texting, group chat, calling, emails, you name it, I do it. So the small things like when I am walking and avoiding people with something in one of my hands, I can pull my phone out of my pocket, turn it on without actually even looking at it, go ahead, open up my messenger, switch to one-handed keyboard so I can reach all the keys, send out my message, then pull down my notifications bar and check anything else that may have come in while I was sending that message is an absolutely wonderful thing. And you may think, well, why would anybody need this? But when you are busy and you are doing stuff, it is extremely useful. Now, these things can be done on any other phones as well. However, in the Google Pixel, it's done nearly instantaneously. Everything's kind of correlated and built into one. There's no, oh, I gotta go to settings to do this, then I gotta go do this, then I gotta set this to make everything happen. No, it is right there at your fingertips when you need it the most. And that is why the day-to-day use of this phone is so nice, and it is in a great category. All those things, the butter smooth operation of fingerprint scanner, and the fact that you can use it one-handed and utilize all those features into one to create something that will work 99% of the time is absolutely wonderful, and I've not had that on any other phone I've used in the past. Last in the great category is support. There's actually a tab for it. Now, I've only used this feature to actually communicate with them, hey, I think this is a great thing that you're doing, or hey, this needs to be fixed. And for most people, this will be extremely useful. Now, most people watching this video probably pretty decent into tech. You won't really need this feature often, if any time at all, but it's kind of fun to use and mess around with them. It's more directly aimed at the people coming from the Apple iOS, which is something I kind of had mentioned a direct competitor to earlier in the video. In my test runs, I've not had to wait long. Someone responds to me willing to help me with whatever I need very quickly, even if there is a problem and you realize it is user error. So for that is in the great category because I don't have to call in to Verizon or AT&T, T-Mobile or Sprint, or I don't have to go into Apple, wait in the crazy lines and do all that, and I don't have to make appointments or do anything with with any sort of tech support guy. No, I have it on my phone, it's a tab, it's easy to use, and it makes sense. That is why it's in the great category. Right down the line to the good category. Now, most of these features are great features, but have disappointed me once or twice. First thing in this category is going to be the build quality. It is good, it's great, but being made by HTC, it does not actually surprise me that I'm starting to hear some rattles in the phone. If I shake it, I do hear something, and that is fairly concerning. But I do drop my phone a lot, so it's not something that I'm not familiar with. It does happen on most of my phones. The design also falls into this category. It's just good. But it does have obvious roots dating back to late 2014, specifically September 19, 2014. Go ahead, look up that day. You'll find exactly what I'm talking about. So it's dated design that is almost making it into the bad category. I would have liked something a little more original, or maybe even something a little bit sleeker. Yes, design and build quality are fairly similar, almost in the same exact category themselves, but in this one, the build quality is good, but the design is not. It's good, it's just not, it's almost bad. Almost bad. I mean, you have two speaker grills, and you only use one of them. You have everything that looks just like a phone that I'm very familiar with. Even so, you do a little bit on your own, but you don't do it great. There's things missing in it that could be improved upon to make it actually great. It's so close, but I think they just ran out of time. Last thing in the good category is battery life. I'm pretty hard on my phone, so I don't expect it to get through the day very easily. It's never happened to me, no matter what phone I had. Doesn't matter if it's a Note, a Samsung Galaxy Note phone, doesn't matter if it's a regular size phone. I'd never get great battery, but that's my fault. Now, this is on par with other phones I've had in the past, and I will only have to charge it about halfway through my day. However, normal people should be able to get through 90% of the day at least with it, and 6 months in, it still performs as it did the day up. In fact, it's even gotten a little bit better. At one point, Google launched some sort of update for it that actually improved battery life. I don't know what they did. I did not read into the notes as I should have, but it did help, and it helped a lot. Now we're heading into the bad territory. I will, overall, put some of those design aspects actually into this bucket. Last minute choice. I've already discussed it though, and you can probably take a guess at which ones I have put in there. The speaker grill being my number one. Anyway, the back glass panel is difficult to keep clean. That's another one of the design factors I will put in the bad bucket. It's just difficult. It scratches easily, and it doesn't appear to be made out of the same glass that's on the front. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, there's probably some sort of manufacturing thing to it. They can probably explain it, and it probably cuts costs, but still, for the user experience, it's not a good one. And I've had people say that the actual back glass cracks 3 times easier than the front, which is also something I did not expect. And then back to the overall look of the phone, it just looks so familiar. Moving on. Lastly, the horrible category. Now, there aren't many things in this category, but there are some things I wish I could change. There are some things I wish this phone had that it just doesn't. And that's what falls into the horrible category because others do. Almost every other does. These are the things that will make this phone fade away faster in a shorter period of time and become obsolete. For instance, water resistance. I know everyone's harped on that, but it's true. I know I don't need it, but it's something that when you're walking around with your phone, you don't buy a specific case that makes your phone water resistant. You can get any case at that point because your phone's already water resistant. It just makes sense. So the fact that they didn't put it on there for the one time that someone, in the 2 years that someone's going to drop their phone in water, it's a little concerning. Now I get it. They did only have 9 months to make the phone. But that's a big one. Lack of wireless charging is yet another thing. Now I get it. It's, again, not necessary, but man, is it nice to have a wireless charger sitting next to your couch at home that you can just put your phone on, and I'm sorry if that noise was really loud, but especially if you had one from your past phone, like the Galaxy S6, I had a wireless charger for that, and I could not use it. Lastly, no SD card. I get it, we're kind of going forward. We're not looking at SD cards to be used for storage anymore. If you look at all the options, they're fading away for SD card storage, but at least start it out on 64 gigabytes as your base model instead of 32. I had to get the 128 and pay a lot more, just so that way I didn't run out of space, and as you can see earlier, I use a lot of storage. I use my SD card almost every day. Now, unlimited cloud storage definitely helps, especially for photos and videos. And I should probably utilize that a little bit more, but still, you can only have so many apps on your phone, and that is a problem, especially 2 years from now, or a year and a half now that I've had this phone for 6 months. And for anyone who has a 32 gigabyte model, it'll become a very big issue as apps get bigger and your storage does not. However, in conclusion, Google's easy-to-use newfound iteration of a smartphone with an aging design is truly an amazing first try. I would make this same choice again if I had to, but it would take much longer consideration as newer phones on the market are very compelling. The reason that I would keep this phone and get it again is only because I've implemented Google in most aspects of my life now. If you've not implemented this phone into your life, well then other phones make amazing cases for you to actually choose them. They make great phones with features that I wish this phone had. However, I love this phone, even though it's not perfect, and that is something I've only ever said to one other phone in the past. I would get this phone again, especially for someone who's not as familiar with smartphones. It just makes sense. Support mode, Google all the way around, it makes choices simple for other products that you buy. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you in some way. If you can live with the bads and horribles of this phone, if the goods outweigh it, then this sounds like it'd be the choice for you. If you liked this video, let me know in the comment section below and give us a thumbs up. If you want me to make more videos, more review videos of products, please hit that subscribe button, as maybe one day this might be something instead of just a little hobby I do on the side. With that, it is time to end.